Okay, so why don't we get started? We'll sit on our mats. You can sit down. Feet, you can either way you're facing, but whatever's easier for your neck. You may want to just face the monitor. I'll face sideways just so I can demonstrate a bit easier. So hang on to your shins, feet are flat on the floor. Pull with your hands so you feel like your spine gets a little taller. Excuse me, sit tall. And then as you exhale, let's round the back, lower back, opens backwards, the middle back, the upper back. And then just really open your shoulder blades, stretching them. If you feel your arms are too short, hang on to the back of your legs instead. I'm okay here, but some people may have to switch to the underside of the leg. Take a big breath in, stretching your waistband backwards, and then use your arms, bend your elbows, and pull the chest forward. So you're sitting nice and tall, and you almost will get a sensation of shoulder blades squeezing a bit together here, and that's a good thing. So exhale, we spread the blades as we round back, somewhere behind your tailbone, scooping back, and then pull forward. Nice tall spine, chin a little bit tucked in. Exhale to round back. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, pull forward, eyes at the horizon. Exhale, you can look down a little bit as you round back. Inhale to pull forwards. Last one, curl back. And then pull yourself forward. And just let the shoulder blades squeeze in as you keep your chin a little bit tucked in. And then from here, circle one arm up and circle it back behind you so you're resting it on your mat. And then do the same with the other. I will face you. So we're just basically lounging back. Separate your feet and just let the knees fall over to one side, flexing the feet. You get a little twist, you can turn your chest away and then rock over your heels, knees the other way. And just do a couple more of those. So get this nice rotation, movements in the hips. You may wiggle a bit forward, you may have to bring your hands forward a bit too. Let's do a couple more. Warming up the hips a bit. There we go. Good, and then come back to the middle. Let's bring the feet in, and you can either, however you want to do this, you could cross your ankles. Now, depending on your knee situation, so you could cross your ankles, put your hands in front and just roll forward onto the knees and come into onto all fours, and then from there come up to standing. Or if that feels too crazy, you can just roll over to one side and come on up. It's just kind of a fun transition. I will tip my monitor. We will be standing now. Okay, and just for a little more shoulders, just let your arms dangle by your sides. Let your shoulders now roll forwards. And let's start to let the spine hunch a little bit, and your thumbs will almost touch. And then we're going to open the palms, lift the chest, look up a little bit, and we round in. As we exhale, you can bend your knees a little more now. Straighten the legs, arch, look up, squeeze the blades. So similar to the first one we did, rounding and arching. And you can make that almost like a conductor arms now, make it a little bigger. The arms circle in, conducting, open out. Let's do 2 more. These big circles. Great, and then we'll finish arms down. Let's stand on the right leg, the right foot. Bring your left leg, out, and you can just straighten it out in front of you. Make sure your hips are even, and we're going to do 5 or 6 of these little ankle flexing points. Flexing points. And then we're going to pause circles. Imagine your foot is stuck in a peanut butter jar or any other nut of choice. Ooh, I got a good crack. Other direction for 5. Really try to think of your foot as one of those flexible spatulas. Okay, and then let's switch feet. Stand on the left leg, pull the left hip in, right leg reaches out. I almost fall over there. You can always put your hand on something if you're having one of those days. Start with the flexing points. Flexing points. Oh, it's also harder to balance if you're on a carpet, so just be aware of that if you need to hang on to something. And then circle slowly. Yeah, socks off is a better idea because your feet have more information. The more information we have, the better our balance. Let's go the other way for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll bring that foot down. Let's go into hip hinges. So I'll face sideways for this. Let's bring the arms across the chest, just like a crisscross. And we'll just parallel, make sure the feet are straight ahead, about sitting bone distance apart. Bend your knees first, like we're just doing a knee bend. Sorry, my cat wants to go outside. As we exhale, pitch your pelvis back, chest comes forward. And only go as low as you're comfortable. So your knees, if they start to feel compressed, they don't go so low. But if you're happy with it, you go as low as feels good, and then you push down through the ground and come up. So we'll do the knee bend first. collect the front ribs, sit back, bow forward a little bit, and then push down to come up. So let's do 8 of those a little quicker. So bend and sit back, exhale back up. Inhale to squat. Try to keep the chest a little bit upright so we're not going totally horizontal to the mat. Yeah, because I could go like this, which is more of a deadlift. I tend to do that, it's my bad habit, but try to stay a little more upright if you can. Let's do 3. That's better. 2, 1, and then release. Now let's shift the weight onto, I'll face you again, shift the weight onto the right foot. Put the left foot toes a little bit behind you as a kickstand. And we're gonna bend the right knee. And we're gonna bring the left arm out in front of us. Okay, so we're gonna bring this arm across, put it on the outside of your right leg, and think of sawing down your leg. You're lifting your, I'm gonna go this way so you can see me. So you're gonna lift your sits bones up in the air and you're just sawing down only as low as you're comfortable. You might be able to get to the ankle or the baby toe. And then we slide back and we're back up with the bent knee position. We're gonna keep this right knee bent. I'm gonna try 3 more. So you cross over. Now let's say you want to advance this. So if this is feeling pretty good, and I'm wobbling this morning, I don't know why, but you could lift your back foot a bit and then come up with the foot always up, you know, I'm shaking. So you go down the outside of the leg. You can always put your toes down as a kickstand. It's too early for this, I didn't have enough coffee. Last one, down with or without your kickstand, back up, well, maybe do 1 more, and saw down. So the knee is just consistently bent. You got it, that looks good. And then we come on up and straighten that leg, shake it out. Other side. So we'll step the right toes back. This is our kickstand. Bend the left knee. So just get a sense of grounding through that foot. The toes are nicely open and spread. Your right arm will come across. We're going to pitch the hips back, similar to the squat we did actually. And then you just slice down the leg as low as you want to go. Now, when you're doing this, let the chest, I should have mentioned this, turn to the right or your left. So your chest, there's rotation happening. Then push down through the stance foot and you come up until you're straight, but your left knee is still bent. So again, you cross over, you saw down. Feel free to lift the foot if you want a little extra challenge. And then push down through the stance leg and up we come. So let's do 3 more. Turning the chest. Yeah, if you feel it's too crazy hard, just put your toes on the floor because it's more important. You'll feel it either way in the glutes. You'll get the glutes burning with or without the toes helping. Okay, let's do 1 more. Crossing over. Turn the chest. Yeah, so don't stay totally straight. Just turn. Yeah, turn the chest, Francis. There you go. Turn. And we come back up. And that's enough. So just shake that out. Okay, so we're going to go into the cross ankle position. Cross, maybe, doesn't matter, 1 foot over the other or in front of the other. And we're just going to do 8 releve. So rise up onto the balls of your feet, squeezing your heels for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, nice, tall. Just think of going very straight. Great. And then from there, we're going to take the front leg out. Let's just keep it simple actually, because we're probably all on different sides. So we'll cross the other ankle over. Now, one side may feel harder or weird compared to the other. So try to get the feet, all the toe bones on the floor, and then we rise up. So this side feels odd to me because I'm naturally rotated the other way. So it's good to do both ways. Yeah, so you just go nice and slowly, squeezing the inner thighs for a little extra. It helps our balance because you core support. 3, 2, 1, and release. Now we're going to crisscross the first foot in front. Bend the knees a little bit. You might have to open the feet a bit. Start to consider coming down to the floor. Basically, we're just cross-legged, so you can come down part way, put your hands. If this feels crazy at this point, just put your knees on the floor so you're in quadruped, or you could just sit all the way down and we've arrived at the ground again. So I thought here, we're going to grab, you can do this without a block, but if you have one, it's kind of fun. If you have a hard block, you may want to put a towel on it so your knee doesn't feel compressed, or you can put your knee on anything, maybe a little book, or if you have a padded cushion of some kind. So let's come into all fours, and why don't we put our left knee and shin a little bit, I guess it is, on the block. Actually like this block, so it's kind of squishy, so I'm using my squishy block for this. But if you don't have a choice, put a towel or something to soften it a bit because you don't want your knee hurting. Okay, so we're gonna just climb aboard and we're gonna have the right knee dangling up in the air because the left knee is of course on the block. There will be a lot of weight on the right hand because of this position. Now lower your right knee to the floor unless you're on a very high block. It could be close to the floor. And then you're gonna level your knees and then pick your right knee up. And then put your right knee on the floor and then pick your knee higher up. I'm gonna turn my monitor, but keep going. I'm gonna show you a little more from the other perspective. What's happening here. Maybe that doesn't help, does it? I'll go the first way. So it's down and up. Now, if you look down at your right leg for a second, make sure that it's just dangling. You're not lifting it to the side, which is another exercise, but that's not quite what we're doing yet. So we're just getting some core work here and left glute work. Okay, so one more of those. We'll finish so that the knees are level, and then we'll straighten the right leg. And just put your right toes on the floor for a second to get sorted out. So we want the chest over the wrists. You can always do this on your forearms if you're getting fatigued in the wrists. We're gonna now flick the toes, right toes, and lift that whole right leg up without arching the back. Let's do 8 single leg lifts, 7, 6. Try to square your torso off. Realistically, we don't really need the left hand here, but we'll leave it there. But really a lot of work in the right armpit area is what we're after. So 2, 1, now hold this one. Bend your knee, and you're gonna fold your right knee towards your chest, and then back and up. So just let it swing almost, back and forth. That's why it's nice to be on the block, because your knee won't hit the floor. So up and forward, and up, keeping a nice stable core. 3, 2, 1. Grand finale, shoot that right leg back, push down through the palms, and maybe we can attempt the bird dog here. So you're welcome to put your left toes on the floor to start. Reach the left arm out, thumb up. Now, if you want an extra challenge, you can bring your left toes off the floor. It's very, very challenging. Nice strong right palm, shoulder blade wide. You can do this without the block, no problem. And then put the hand down, the knee down. Let's take a break for a second. Come off your block. Sit in child's pose and stretch your arms in front. Okay, we'll walk the hands to 3 o'clock to the right. Take a little side stretch there, yep. And then over to center, over to the left, focusing on the right arm. Okay, we'll come back to center. Let's roll up. Move to your high kneeling position for a moment before we do the other side. Just want to do a little bit of wrist mobility work. Feel free to stand too if this is hard on your knees. But so let's make a fist, and your elbows are tucked in. I always think of a dog holding its little paws out. Okay, and you're gonna from that curl, and you're really curling your knuckles down, and then pull your knuckles towards you, and then open your fingers and push like you're pushing the wall away in front of you. And then we'll make sort of claw-like fingers, easing our way into a strong fist. Curl your knuckles down and pull back into the dog holding its paws. Good, and yes, exactly. Flick pull your fingers back, your wrist back, push out, fist, knuckles down, pull. So we'll do that 3 more times. The push, shoulders spread, shoulder blades spread, we pull. Make a tight fist so you're actually feeling muscles working in the forearms. Sometimes wrist issues, sometimes just strengthening will help a little bit. All right, last one, we'll pull in and then we'll shake that out. Let's go to side number 2. Hopefully I remember what we did. So we're gonna put your right knee, I believe, on the block. It's the problem with having the mute button. Can't have people help me out here. So collarbones on top of the palm or wrist, roughly. Your left knee is on the floor, and then you're gonna pick it up so it's level. And then you're gonna pike your left hip higher than your right hip, which will cause your left knee to look like it's shorter than your right leg. And you go down, left knee towards the mat, and then hike it up. Put it down, pull it up. Let's do 4. So this is lumbar rotation, lower back rotation, and it's actually the right glute, the side glute that has to do quite a bit of work, not to mention your core and your left arm. All right, last one, we're gonna level things off. You should feel like your left shoulder blade is really down our backs to make sure that we're not up in our ears here. And now the pendulum, so let's start with the left foot up in the air, bending the knee, and just let it sort of fall in a sense. It's almost like let it be effortless. So it sort of swings like a bell swinging Knee folds to the belly button, then up behind us. Squeeze the glute at the back, keeping neutral pelvis. Let's go for 5, 4, 3. Yeah, just let it swing. It's quite nice actually. And then last one up, stretch that leg behind you. Point your toes if you want, once you get cramps, and we tap the floor and then we lift up. So we'll do 8 just simple leg lifts. This one is not really momentum. Watch that you're not leaning to the right. Your right hip may start to burn. That's normal. Mine is. 2, I think we're at. 1. Hold, getting ready for the grand finale. Push down through the 2 palms and then gradually see if you can reach your right arm out, thumb up. Maybe your right toes could be on the floor. Maybe they could try coming off the mat if you want a little excitement. 5, 4, keep reaching through space, left palm flat and spreading out, feeling the shoulder blade. And let's come on down. All right, so we'll go back to a child's pose type of position. Sit back, walk your hands out, relax your forehead. You can stay like that. You might want to wiggle a bit side to side. Okay, and now let's roll up one more time, coming up to high kneeling position again. So again, if you need padding, grab your any towels or things you need if you need them. Okay, so let's, I'm thinking you might want to actually have your yoga block. See if you need it over to the right of you, just in case. It depends on how long your arm is sometimes. So we'll start just level, stack joints, shoulders over hips. So we're gonna just think about, we wanna lift this left leg out and out to the side, sort of like a kneeling clam. It's not the easiest thing in the world, so just try that. It's not gonna look pretty. And then lower it down. So that's the beginning of this maneuver. So we're gonna lift that leg, and then gradually you can come down onto your right hand. So you can put your hand on your block or the floor. We're just gonna reach the opposite arm straight up. So it's sort of like a clamshell. We're squeezing the right hip forward from the back. And then we've got to get back to where we started. So push down off your block or the floor, and we're gonna slowly come on out. Let's try that 3 more times. So we have to lean a little bit probably, but lift that leg, left leg. We come on down, touch the floor, reach for the sky, squeeze your hips forward, and then we gradually come up, trying to resist against the fact that there's gravity, which makes life a little harder. So we ease into it. The slower, the harder. That's it. And then coming back. And the last one, we're going to stay there. So let's come on over. And I was going to show you from the side. So if you feel like your behind is sort of going like that, then you probably need the yoga block for sure. So it's just a sense, it's just that you don't have enough space in the hip joint. So you want to be stacked up. So pelvis like you're stuck between 2 planes of glass here. Let's put the top hand behind the head now, upper hand. And we're going to circle this front knee forward, the left knee forward and then back. 3 more, big circles, keeping the right hip steady, squeezed forward and stable. 2, 1, let's reverse. Or the other way, down and around and back to the front. 3, 2, 1. And then grand finale, we're going to reach that leg just like the clam, but then stretch the leg, straighten it. I know this is awful. Put the foot on the floor, and then we're going to reach up, come up, and just do a side bend towards that straight leg. Take a breath or 2 there. And then we're going to put our hands on the floor like a quadruped. And just hinge back and forth a few times. Sit back towards your heel. You can have your toes tucked or not. Okay, last one. And then we're going to pull that knee in. Now let's do the other side. So if you were using that block, you can put it on the other side, the left of you now, if you find it helpful. Better not to compensate, right? So the props just help us prevent that. So here we go, arms wide. Hopefully the block's in a good spot. We're going to press down through the left shin or knee, lifting the right, that's your right leg up, wobbly, and then lower down. Let's just try one like that, and then we'll go for the one where we tip completely. So you lift the leg, and then we side bend over slowly, preferably. Reach the top arm to the ceiling. See if you need the block. I actually find I don't need the block on this side. Squeeze the hip forward to make sure we're stacked hip over knee. Well, I'll show you what we don't want. I don't want to be over here or maybe sort of crooked like this. So we want to stack it. If you can see yourself, I don't know if you can see if you have a mirror, but, and then you're going to push down and come on out. So try 3 more. So we float the right leg up. We slowly resist as we go over onto our hand or fingertips or block, and then push down, slowly bring your knee back to the floor. 2 more. Balancing slowly. Squeeze the left hip. That looks good. Great. Last one, and we'll hold this one. So over we go, and we're going to hold it. So you want your front ribs in, so that's your core, and then we'll pull the front knee, that's your top knee, right knee forward, open it to the ceiling, and then bring your knee behind you, and then circle it down and around. So think of your knee drawing the circle. 1, and reverse for 4, 3, keep the front ribs in. Back of the neck long. If your neck gets tired, you can always look down for a moment or 2. Last one, hold the leg up in line with your hip, and then stretch that leg. Squeeze the left hip forward, and then we'll put that foot on the floor. Let's ease up, and then we'll just do a side bend to the right. Just a nice comfortable stretch. Breath in and out. Okay, and then we'll circle the arm. Hinge back a bit so we can get our hands on the floor again. You can tuck your toes, left toes if you wish. Either way, we'll hinge back like we're sitting on our foot, and then we come forward. You don't have to go all the way back, of course. See how it feels. So you might get a bit of an inner thigh stretch here. 2, 1, and then come back to quadruped, bring that knee in. And here, we'll just sort of fall over to one side, and we're gonna sit at the front of our mat. You wanna grab your band if you have that. If you don't have it, you'll have to work a little harder, or you could use a yoga strap or towel and just sort of slide your hand along it as you do your roll back. So lots of options here. But we're going to sit tall. The band will be over our feet. Looking straight ahead, roll your shoulders back, take a big breath in. Just like we started the class, just roll back behind your tailbone. We're just going to open the arms. If you do have the band, you can just open up. If you have a yoga strap, this can work. You just have to fiddle with it a bit. So it's like you're holding a big beach ball. We're going to inhale into the scooped out position, and then just roll yourself up to tall sitting. And again, scoop back. We'll just leave the arms in that wide open position. There you go. And if you're finding it's too hard, then you choke up on the band. If it's too easy, make the band lighter. Or you can bring your arms closer to you. That will actually be harder. So there's lots of ways to make this easier or harder depending on your needs. Let's do 2 more. That's it, good. And then the final one, let's roll all the way down. So I'm going to scoot forward a bit on my mat. You may have to as well. So find your tall spine, arms wide if you're holding this stretchy band. Scoot back, pubic bone tips to chest, and 1 vertebra at a time. Let's see if we can roll all the way to the floor, 1 vertebra at a time, eventually resting our head. Okay, and then once you're down there, you're going to pull 1 foot carefully out of your band and then the other. Let's put the band aside for a moment. Okay, you can have the arms a little bit out, not too wide, but a little bit open so you're comfortable. And let's do 4 or 5 bridges, simple articulating bridges. So heels align with our hip bones or sits bones, not the outer hips, but the inner hips. Take a breath, exhale. Let's roll the spine and the hips up into the air. And feel like your feet are nice and open. We're not rolling the ankles in or out. We're nice and centered. Take a breath in, scoop, or not scoop, but lift your hips higher, and then we'll roll down 1 vertebra at a time. So just think of this as just waking up your hip joints, getting some spinal movement. Let's do 3 more. Exhale, rolling up, waking up your glutes, breathing in at the top, and drooping down like you're rolling into a hammock somewhere nice. That drawing isn't nice, but maybe not, could be a little warmer. So exhale, we roll up, heavy through the heels, long through the toes, centered from ball of the foot to heel. Empty the lungs, roll down. All right, let's do 1 more. We'll stay at the top now. So exhale, roll your spine up. You're gonna stay here. Okay, you're gonna put all your weight very slowly on your left foot and fold your right knee towards you. 1 leg bridge, yep. Put the right foot down, fold the left knee towards you. And we'll just march. Let's do 6 of these. 6, 5, and keeping steady across your shoulder blades. 4. Make sure your neck is calm. Try not to look at the screen because it's hard in the neck to twist it. So just look up at the ceiling. Last one, each leg. We're just marching. And then when you're done, put the final foot down. Roll your spine down. empty the lungs. And just so we have enough time, I'm not used to 30-minute classes, grab your band or strap or towel. This really doesn't matter. If you do have neck issues though, I would highly recommend just forgetting that and holding your head instead. But otherwise, we'll hold the band. And you can loop it over your hands if you want, just feels a bit nicer. So it's like this. About shoulder, you don't want to be too narrow, shoulder distance is nice. And that way you can slide the arms a little bit outwards to get some outer shoulder activity. Not too hard though, just a little. So let's do arms overhead right into the ab curls. So inhale, arms go back. Soften your ribs into the mat. Exhale, look down and we'll curl up and we'll just tap whatever we're holding, the band or strap to the thighs. Hold your curl, inhale, scoop the arms back, and then we'll exhale, bring it back. So let's do 4 more. Exhale to curl. Ribs drop down the front, chin is in so there's no strain. Reach up, roll down. A little quicker, we'll exhale, curl. We're inhale, going back. Exhale to curl forwards. Inhale to roll back. Last 2. And back. Last 1. And back. Keep your head restful. Bring the arms up. Unhook your band. Put that aside. Let's put our hands behind the head now instead. As if you're holding something, well, we know what our head is. So just make sure that your fingers are interlaced so you can comfortably hold the weight of the head, which is quite heavy. Eyes look down. Let's do another curl, but we'll hold it. So curl up, bend the ribs into the floor forward. You got it? Okay. So from here, let's challenge ourselves a bit. So fold one leg up and then the second leg up. A little closer than tabletop. So the knees are maybe over our belly button roughly. And then we'll bring our inner thighs and inner shins together. Okay. So as we exhale, we're going to sink the abdominal wall towards the floor as we slide the shins out a little bit in front of us, like they're under a coffee table, and then pull them back in. What we don't want is the back to come off the floor. So we're all going to be a little different, but just go as far as you're able to keep the low back down. Let's do 3 more. Inhale back, because there's no bonus in going, because I can go all the way, but I can tell my back is starting to cheat a little bit. Last one. Bring it in, lower 1 foot down, 2nd foot down, rest your head. You can keep your right hand now behind your head, but let's put the left arm to the left of us, palm up. Yeah, so it's just out to the side, perfect. The right elbow is slightly pointing up to the ceiling. We're gonna do a curl, but once you're about halfway up, start to turn to the left. So you're reaching your right elbow across. Now it's easy to cheat with this one and let the right hip come up, so press your right back pocket if you have pockets into the mat. We're going to reach up, face the ceiling, rest your head. So let's do 4 more. Exhale, rotate across to the left. Use your arm to hold your head. Inhale back to the mat. Exhale, turn left. Inhale back. 2. Facing the ceiling. Last 1. Rotate. Once you rest, slide your right hand out so we have 2 arms wide. And just let the knees fall to the right. Once you can turn to the left. Fall to the left once, head to the right, and then we'll come back to the center. Let's do the other side. So left hand behind the head now. We've got the left elbow pointing up and the right arm is still out to the right, palm up. So here we go, curl and turn to the right. The left shoulder blade spreads. We come back to rest. Make sure the knees don't wander. They stay steady. And of course the left hip stays down. So the work is in the upper abdominals, upper obliques. So turn to the right. Inhale, center, last 2. Great. Last one, rotate, and then finish, looking up at the ceiling. Open both arms once again to the side. And if you want a little extra, you can bend them so you're in the cactus position just to stretch out the chest a little bit. Take 1 breath there. Press the backs of your arms into the mat just to get a little upper back work, because we didn't get to our swans today. Great. And then from there, you can bring your arms down, give yourself a big hug, wrapping hands on, or placing hands on shins, and then you can just rock it out side to side. And then if you want a little extra fun with this, you could put both hands behind the head, curl up into a little ball shape, and try to touch your knees to the elbows and the elbows to the knees. If it's comfortable, just take a breath or 2 there. So it's a little kind of like a crunch. Lift your tailbone up if it's appropriate for you. Sometimes that can aggravate, so don't skip it if it doesn't feel good. Just get the core really working, and then slowly plant your feet, open the arms, open out, finish in a quick froggy stretch, soles of the feet together, knees wide, and just take a few final breaths. Let your jaw relax. And then to come out of this, you can decide what direction, but rock one knee over the other, bring one arm in the same direction over the other hand, and then you know what to do. We can just ease our way up from there, unless you want to stay down and take a nap. Maybe it's a bit early for naps. All right, so thank you, everybody.